So how should someone like me build more intention into the day?
Sometimes it's helpful to check in throughout the day.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm not feeling that.
Why is it causing you anxiety? What are you worried about?
He writes back like a minute later. I don't want to talk about that. Like, oh my God!
I'm dreaming, oh, I believe in this dream I've been dreaming, oh, I'm dreaming, oh, I believe in this dream I've been dreaming, oh.
It's here, it's happening. Dr. Tess in the house, here to change my life and rebuild a human.
We have the technology.
Right? Come on, the intros are always fantastic.
Yeah.
How do we fix Evan this month?
Well, I don't know, Evan. How broken are you this month? That's the question.
I feel like I need to be more broken.
You need to be more broken? You want me to break you and then put you back together?
Yeah,
like some kind of Meccano toy?
Oh, it's so exciting. Pick me.
You're one strange cat, my friend.
Well, I know that.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem. How's your book going?
Good. Causing me anxiety. Actually, this is great. So my homework right now is I need to reach out to people. So Brendan Burchard tasked me with asking people to read the book. So the people that I profile on my channel are all like thought leaders, different backgrounds, but fairly well known. And I've done a lot to help them, a lot of people over the past years. And the idea is he wants me to get people to read like 2 sentences or 3 sentences, like hold up the book and read 2 sentences from the book, right? And so I asked him, hey, will you be my first one? And he said yes, so that's great. So we did that. Yeah. But I recorded that. That's pat on the back, like good job, Evan, when I was in Puerto Rico. Now I'm reaching out to people, and I built my first list of people who are, I'm asking to read, and it's causing me anxiety and stress. And
why is it causing you anxiety? What are you worried about? You're worried about them saying no, or you're worried about imposing on them? What are you worried about?
I'm always worried about disappointing people, so I'm worried that like I haven't done enough to help them, and it's all fear, right? Like I'm doing it. I look at the phone and I get anxiety, and then I procrastinate for a little bit, and I still do it. But it's just recognizing the fear, and some people write back and some people don't, and some people ask questions, and I got a couple of people already who agreed to, like, oh my God, it's happening.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, but the worry is, I haven't done enough over the past, whatever, 5-10 years to help these people. Some people I know better than others. Some people will do like whatever because I've helped them so much, and others I don't know that well, and I've helped them a little bit. And so I'm still asking, and
we'll see. Doing it anyway.
Yeah,
that's like that whole feel the fear and do it anyway kind of
that's
thing.
It, right? Yeah. Like I sent them in. Some of them are texting, some of them are email, but like one guy sent an email. I asked him, he didn't write back. But I sent him about something about his channel, and he wrote back right away. He's like, well, but what happened to the first email that I sent that was about the book read, right? So I was like, I don't follow up, right? I mean, that's part of the game. I don't look forward to it. It causes me anxiety, but that's I gotta do it. So we're doing it. It's happening.
Yeah, you got to do it. And I also think don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to re-ask. Like,
I will. No.
And what I mean by that, like in the current climate, email is.
Oh yeah, getting lost. The books are getting lost.
Yeah.
Multiple books have like sent to these people. Even like Dean Graziosi, if you know Dean. Do you know Dean Graziosi? Yeah. I'm using his book guy. Like his warehouse, Dean's warehouse. I'm using the same guy from my warehouse in the US. And Dean's book, like, never got there. And it's from his own guy. Right? But he's like, can you send me another one? I'll buy one on Amazon. Like, I want to have one. Right? It's happening. And I'm sure we're like, maybe it got stolen or just got lost or whatever. Yes. Logically, that makes sense. Emotionally, it doesn't. Emotionally, it's, of course they saw it. First off, they got my book and they hated it and they threw it away. Now I'm emailing them And of course they saw it and they laughed at me and then threw it, right? I mean, this is what.
Wow, that story.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No,
it's not that bad. But
it is what we do. It is
yeah,
what we
of course,
do, isn't
of course,
it? We
of
fill
course.
in the blanks. We fill
Right.
in the blank. You know, our brain is designed to do that, like to fill in the blanks. Like, you know, your eyeballs, I love this little bit of anatomy fact. Like your eyeball, where your pupil is in your eyeballs, that you don't see that bit. Like there's a gap in your vision all the time, and your brain fills in the gap. Like you cannot see where your optic nerve connects.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a gap in your receptors in your visual fields, right?
Okay.
But your brain fills in the gaps, and we do the same with stories in our heads, right? We do the same with something hasn't happened, we haven't got an answer, so our brain fills in the gaps.
Okay.
You know, tells us a story, and interestingly, it's always a story to make us feel bad. Why do we do that? Why do we do that?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? You're the expert. You're the mentalist here.
Yeah, I'm not a mentalist. Oh my God. What even is a mentalist other than a television show? I mean, seriously.
No, hey, listen, I believe in mentalists. I think mentalists are real.
Oh, I don't know what it means, is what I'm saying. I don't know what
they plant thoughts. Like they can make you do things. They plant thoughts. Yeah. So it's like, I could make you write down the number 43.
Right. Okay.
Or I can make you write down your first boyfriend. Like I'll figure out your first boyfriend's name by asking you a series like what, like yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe in that stuff. I feel like I almost do some of that when I'm talking to people and coaching them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you do too, but anyway, yeah. So I guess it's a
then
TV
it's not
show
what we're
too.
talking about. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about today. But
it was a very good TV show. Except
we just basically agreed that Tess is a mentalist. That's what I called her, and now we've come full circle on it in a very quick amount of time.
Yeah, okay. So no, I'm not a mentalist, I'm a psychologist. Stop it. I think the
like you're both. I mean, it's a dash.
Okay.
It's not just one thing.
Dash.
Can you put can you put Tess Crawley in a box? I don't think so, fam. It's not how we roll here.
Oh my gosh. It's not how we roll. We do not.
Right?
Boxes can't roll. Boxes cannot roll. Okay, so why do we fill in the blanks with a negative story? I don't think there's a single answer to that, but I think that we all have our own answer to that. You know, like what stories have we picked up over the course of a lifetime? You know, like that whole, you know, like a snowball gets bigger as it rolls along.
Yeah.
You know, or as you push it along to make a snowman. It's like we gather that stuff across the course of a lifetime. So it might be fear of criticism, or it might be rejection, or it might be fear of disappointing. We've talked about that before. And I think that the important thing is not acknowledging when we're doing it and going calling bullshit on it. Because that's what I think you're doing, right? That's what you're doing. You're saying, hang on a minute. Let's not buy into that story.
Well, I don't know how much I don't know. For me, I guess it's just, I've shortcut the thinking process. Because yes, I can tell myself, maybe it did get lost. Maybe they did see it and they just forgot. And maybe they do have 1,000 emails, and maybe they're trying to move their big organization all remote. And my request is not top of inbox right now, right?
Yeah.
But the way to shortcut it, at least for me, is just because I'm afraid, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
As soon as I catch the anxiety, I think it's just as fast to start thinking logically about it as it is to just do it.
Just do the thing.
So I just do the thing.
Exactly right.
But today I had I'm looking at his face right now on my phone. Can I move that away? I don't want to keep looking at him. Jesus. So I tell him, listen, I'll make it easy for you. This is a huge guy, like millions of, subscribers, followers. I'll find the quote in the book that matches your brand. Right? Yeah. I'm not expecting them to read the whole book and then find the thing they like the most, and that's what they're going to read, right? I'll find the quote that matches your brand. And so I spent an hour like going through my book. I was first going through his Instagram, seeing what he's talking about, what he's posting, and right? Like, oh, he's talking about this? Okay, great. I think I know. So I go through my book, find it, take a screenshot, highlight it, send it to him. And he writes back like a minute later, I don't want to talk about that. Like, oh my God. Because now he was I already feel like he's on the fence, and now he's reject, like if I don't nail the next one, he's out for sure, right? He's like, maybe Evan, I don't know, maybe like this isn't going to be a good fit, right? He's already kind of borderline, got all these other things on his plate. So like, I'm on it, and I go back like, oh my god. So I keep reading through my book, and I find like, oh, I think I got a good one. And then I gave him, it's an easy one where it's not even me talking. I'm talking about like a study that was done, and he loves like putting statistics and stuff. So I gave him that, and he write back, I love it. Like, yes, we got it. Right? Now he still has to do it. I still have to connect with his assistant and give him the script and like all of the, get it off his phone and give it to me and all this, you know, all the mess. It's still going to be another 30 emails probably before I get anything back. But yeah, I don't look forward to it at all. But I'm excited that I'm doing it anyway, and pat myself on the back for it.
I think there's something about asking that feels wrong. Like I know when I was a child, and my dad liked to dispute this. My dad used to say to me, like if I was asking, like if I was, you know, trying to implement Pester power, my dad's response was, if you ask, you don't get. And that was his way of shutting me up, because then I'd stop. And if I'd say, but why? He'd say, because Y is a crooked letter. And then I'd really stop. But
why is a crooked letter?
Because Y is a crooked letter. I know, right?
How is it crooked? Is that a
well,
thing?
This is the issue.
Wait, do people say that?
Well, my father did.
It's a thing. People say, why is a crooked letter meaning? I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Y is a crooked letter. Oh, another one they used to say, you can look this one up. I'd say, hey, Dad, where are you going? And he'd say, and it would be considered a terribly racist statement now, so maybe I shouldn't say it.
Wow.
Well,
wow,
maybe
Tess.
Not really. Maybe just no, culturally inappropriate, cultural reappropriation. Right. That's what it is. That's what it is, cultural reappropriation.
Don't apply your mentalist magic and make me say it.
No, okay. He would say, I'm off to get a wigwam for a goose's bridle.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but it would shut me up every time. Like that.
Then you say, Dad, that makes no sense. Like, when did that test come out? Explain that to me.
The point of these stories was that, you know, the whole Pester power thing and asking, and if you ask, you don't get. It actually became a little bit ingrained in me. And so I would actually not ask for things. So I would be at a friend's house starving hungry, even as an adult, and I wouldn't say, hey, mate, you got something I can eat because I'm starving. I would sit and not say anything because I'd had this sort of ingrained in me that you shouldn't ask. So I know it's really hard to ask and it feels really icky. And I think that is a message that we get somehow, even with the best of, you know, intentions, parents, teachers, those that we look up to growing up, somehow manage to perpetuate these stories about what's appropriate, inappropriate. And then we bring them with us into our adult conversations with each other. And it makes us feel small, makes us feel like we're not allowed or we're doing something wrong sometimes. Do you resonate with that, Evan?
I mean, as you're talking about it, I'm just trying to think, okay, well, what's the great? And like, so what do you do about it?
Yeah.
My only solution is you do it. So that's what I do. But maybe there's something better. Maybe, I don't know.
No.
You just do it.
I agree with you. You do it. You do it anyway. And I mean, this is the whole, we can apply that to anything though. We can apply that to asking. We can apply that to putting yourself out there on social media. We can apply that to writing a book. We can apply that to pretty much anything in life. There are lots and lots of stories we tell ourselves that will stop us if we let them. And that's the trick, is to hear them, which you're good at, hear them and don't let them stop you, because they're just stories. They're not facts. Thoughts are not facts.
Well,
unless you are thinking about a fact.
Yeah, but it could be too. Like maybe they did see the book and hated it. Like that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. But you can't know that unless you ask the question. And are you going to ask the question? And if you're going to spend your time mind reading, that's just another story. And the alternative to mind reading is to ask the question, and you're not going to ask that question.
Yeah, unless you're a mentalist like Tess Crawley, you won't be able to mind read. So
oh my God.
Don't just give up on it and just do it anyway. It's very sunny already. What usually when we're talking, I get to see the sun come up.
Yeah,
it's already up. What's happening?
Yeah, but you very kindly made our time a little bit later. So it's 8:30, 8:45, something like that.
Oh, is that what we did? Is this a different time?
It is a different time. Do you not notice?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever Sandra puts in my calendar is what I do.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
I look forward to our like.
I look forward to our times too. But it was getting to like 7 a.m. and I'm just like, I'm not even, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
You okay. You asked for the time change, not our side. Okay. Because I was about to tell Sandra, listen, we need to go back to, I want to see the sunrise in the background. This is like killing my vibe right now. Okay. All right, fine. No, it's if you ask for it, that's fine.
I'm just here for your Southern Hemisphere sunrise. No, it kills my vibe if it's too early. I can't be too noisy because I can't justify it.
That's okay. Listen, when I do this with Mark Jager, there's no sunrise happening in the background. I mean, this is that's probably special.
I know, right?
Okay, so I just have to keep doing it. I'm doing it, and so what I've done actually that helps is these are also people that I brought. You know, I have brought and continue to bring value to, and so. On Wednesdays is my book day. And so that's when I'm in ask mode and following up and saying, hey, have you got it yet? You need me to send the book again. The tracking number's here. How about this quote or whatever? And then Fridays I use as my value add day. So I compartmentalize them differently. Like today I'm asking and today I'm bringing value. And so it's the same person I might be following up with on the Friday, but I'm just helping them with their YouTube channel or making a connection or an intro or some guidance or advice or something that I can help with. And it bleeds. Like the guy today, I was helping with something else. And then he said, oh yeah, and about the book. And so, you know, I'm not going to wait till next Wednesday then to do it. But I find that helps as well. Yeah. Let me get you something on Wednesday. No, let's go. Come on.
Yeah. I love that. Actually, I'm in the process of, for myself, but also with some of my coaching clients, talking about rejigging, your daily diary. And I like the model you've got. And I've actually been inspired by that a little bit. That structure to your week that you have. It's quite rigid in some ways, obviously fluid in others. To compartmentalize and organize the multitudinous tasks that entrepreneurs have to tackle each week.
Let me tell you something. A recent addition I haven't talked a lot about that's been really helpful. Within the day, I actually find, and this is maybe me, it maybe doesn't apply, but I find that in the mornings, it'd be a lot harder. 7 a.m. for me would be a disaster. Like I would do it, but it'd be brutal. I don't have anything official on my calendar typically until 10:30 in the morning. Because the mornings for me, I'm great at like research and planning and looking at data and just like hug my wife and then full on introvert mode. But then afternoons, I come alive and so I've divided my day so that my mornings are strategy and planning and introvert. And then my afternoons are creation, expression. So on like my Tuesday, which is YouTube day, the morning will all be my analytics and data and planning and scripting and all that. And then the afternoon is filming.
Yeah.
And I find that's such an amazing rhythm for me, at least. So anything that's creative or talking to people is afternoon, and anything planning introvert is in the morning. And then I divide it with, I go live at 2:00. 2:00? I think it's, I have to look at my calendar. I live by my calendar. Hold on. Yeah, 2:00. I go live at 2:00 on my Instagram. And that's the split of the day for me. So like it's all introvert up until 2:00. Yeah. I go live on Instagram and I start connecting with my audience and they're asking me questions and then I'm getting to extrovert mode.
How energizing is that, right?
Yeah, it's always great, right? And so I often try to bring people in. So it's always me and somebody. And then I take that energy into then creation mode, whether it's making videos or even writing emails, because I'm still picturing people. Like when I'm writing an email, it's to a person, not just a list, right?
Yeah.
And now I've just interacted with people through the Instagram Live. Anyway, so that's a little hack that I've added that
I like that. I think that's really smart. In fact, a lot of other people that I know in this space have a later start to their day for similar reasons. They're in introvert mode, they're in self-reflection mode, or use that time for just getting their head clear, and then before, you know, really diving into, and a lot of them, you know, obviously myself included, are mothers and entrepreneurs. So they've also got, you know, the children and getting the day sorted. Now we're all in lockdown and the kids aren't at school. It's slightly different, but it's actually for me, it's expanded the introvert element, and it's harder for me to break out of it because we're meant to be staying home and doing nothing, working hard, but from the same space. I think that for me, the structure of the days across the week is something I'm still, now that we've had all this change, I had a good structure across the days of my week. Plus I've sold my business, so it's also changed one of my businesses. Yes. So it's, thank you. So it's changed the demands on my time. So I was in the process of restructuring how my daily diary or my weekly diary works. And now all of the isolation stuff thrown into the mix has changed everything again. And so, you know, a lot of people are really struggling with, and I think this applies to most people actually, are really struggling with the day-to-day of how do I structure my time so that there's some time for the kids to be learning from home, there's some time for me to be working from home, and there's some time for me to just get my head straight because this is a crazy time we're living in. And
So I got something on that. But first, I like how I was doing this, like celebrating dancing, and you just went, no, you went like raw, strong. You went like flexing biceps on me there. I like that. I sold my business.
One of them. But yeah, it is.
That was great. That was great. I like that. Okay, so here's something. So my morning, so today I woke up and I got up at 6:30. And I just started working on, I had a new idea for a thumbnail for my YouTube channel. And I just started making my thumbnail, right? And like making it and crafting it and launching it. And then I've looked at it like another 50 times already today, because I love making something and then just looking at it. It's like, I made that. That's pretty good. Do you not do that? Do you not look at your own work and just admire it?
Of course I do.
It's great. And like, I'm hoping it does well. I can't wait for it I launched today, but I won't get data for another like 4 days. But anyway, one of the things that I have on my agenda to try to figure out is something that came from Brendan Burchard, actually, where every morning he sits down and he plans his day with intention. He already has his day scheduled, but he'll look at the schedule and then say, okay, with Dr. Tess at 6:30, how do I want to show up? Who do I want to be? What do I want to make sure that I bring up or talk to her about or recognize or validate in her or celebrate? Like he'll look at his calendar and go through each step and just try to be really intentional from the outset. And he'll sit down with his drink. I don't know if it's coffee or tea, I forget. And I think it's green tea, but, and he spends like every morning is how he starts his day. I'm struggling a lot with that. I just want to get to work. So at 6:30 in the morning, I'm not thinking about 12 hours later when I'm with Tess, what I want to talk about or my intention or what I want to validate or recognize in her. So I'm waking up and I'm getting to work on something. Introvert mode, just me by myself, kind of toying away at something. So I'm trying to figure out, I don't feel like I'm massively intentional. I just haven't figured out how to, I tried how he does it. I can't.
I think that's different for everybody.
Yeah,
like
I know.
I drag this around with me, kidding myself, really. And Mel Robbins, I love your guts. If you ever happen to watch this, I've met Mel, I've met her team, beautiful people. She's got this fabulous 5-second journal, plug for Mel Robbins, sorry. And it's got her Mel. System. Yeah, everybody loves Mel, right? It's got her system for starting her day, and it literally it's a 5-minute thing. I carry it around with me thinking, I'm going to get into that system. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's 2 years since I met Mel, and I'm still not doing it.
Oh, and that was a life-changing moment for you too, right? Like that decision.
Totally. Totally.
That was a spark.
That story. Big story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then you met me. I mean, holy cow. Right?
No turning back. No turning back. Do you know what? It's a year. This morning, it's a year today since I woke up in LA. For that trip to the States where we hung out in New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I'm thinking the
Yeah.
Mel Robbins trip had to be like.
No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
More.
That was 2 years ago. 2 years. 2 years?
No, it's like 2.5 or 3. It's more.
No, it was May.
Was it May?
And it was May in 2018. Yeah. All
right. Okay.
It was just before a whole lot of crap went down in the business. All of the life-changing stuff happened that year.
Can we just recognize the past 2 years for Dr. Tess Crawley, right?
A big couple of years.
Holy cow.
Right? I'm writing a book now. Did I tell you I'm writing a book now?
How's your course? Did your course come out?
My course, suddenly, there's some skates under my course. So the videos are finished.
I don't even know what that means. There's some skates under my course? Course, under my course. Well, there's some skates under my course. Either way, I don't understand it. Skates means there's momentum. Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Do you even skate in Australia? Where does that expression come from?
Well, yes, we do skate. I'm actually on the hunt for some roller skates as we speak. Actually.
Oh, roller skates. Okay, I don't know.
But I used to ice skate too. I used to ice skate too. All
right.
What are we talking about? So the course, yes, the course is coming. The latest update is the videos are finished, and the workbook, the accompanying workbook, has been drafted. I need to look over that this weekend, while I'm also writing a new book, which I'm working with a local publisher on.
Hey now.
Hey, it's pretty exciting. So the whole thing about what our process in the morning is, it's different for everybody. And my point about Mel's journal, and similar to your point, is something can be a great idea and yet still not necessarily resonate with us. And that doesn't make it wrong, and it doesn't make us wrong.
Yeah.
We have to find our own way of starting the day. And I think it's a work in progress for many of us.
Everybody, whatever. Even Mel and Brendan are constantly making tweaks and changes. It's ongoing. So how should someone like me build more intention into the day?
I think it's about being consciously aware of what you're doing. So being mindful of what you're doing, catching yourself out when you're procrastinating, or when you're being perfectionistic, or when you're just scrolling mindlessly through social media. The whole point, people talk about mindfulness without really understanding what it is. It's not meditation. It's not coloring in. It's actually being consciously aware of the present moment. And so if, we can find any number of ways of enhancing our mindfulness skills, because it is a skill, it's like a muscle, you got to practice it to flex it. But it's not difficult, and it is about catching yourself out. Say, what am I doing? And is this what I want to be doing today? What do I want to achieve today? And is what I'm doing now moving me forwards towards that goal for the day? So if you don't have a goal for the day and you're just spinning wheels or caught on that hamster wheel of just crisis-driven reactive behaviors throughout your day, you're still not being intentional. And that's where I think a lot of business owners in particular get stuck, because there's always someone who wants something. It could be your email notifying you every 5 seconds. But
what should I do? Forget business owners.
You need to.
Here we go. Yeah, that's the Tess I want. You need to give it to me, Tess. I'm ready. My ears are open. Bring it.
Oh my.
We need to replay that.
Here's what you need to do.
The tone change. Business owners, you need to. That was great. I love that. If I had a cell phone number, that would be my ringtone when you called me.
No.
We could sell that ringtone and make some money.
No,
that's my next business.
I do not authorize that. That is not authorized.
You're all the way in Australia.
Yeah, like, what am I going to do about it? Is that how that sentence is going to finish?
Exactly.
Okay, so what you need to do,
if
you want to be more intentional,
mm-hmm.
It's just a 5-minute thing in the morning, literally, like Mel's journal sort of was intended to be. But it's just a 5-minute thing of just
Okay, so what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm gonna do it. This is now. It's not the Brendan routine. It's not the Mel Robbins routine. It's the Tess Crawley mentalist, like specified just for me morning routine.
Okay.
5 minutes. What am I doing in these 5 minutes? What am I gonna do? I'll do it. I'm gonna do my homework and I'll report back.
Oh my gosh, so much responsibility. I don't know if I can handle it.
Listen, that's it. So what am I doing in my 5 minutes?
Okay, your 5 minutes. Okay, so you are calming yourself down. Stop bouncing. Calm, settle, stand
But this
still,
is first thing in the morning. Like
I don't care. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. It can be first thing in your morning. First thing in your working morning.
Okay.
I'm not saying it has to be 6 a.m. Okay, there's no time of when it's the time.
Okay, but I wake up and I just start working. I woke up at 6:30, started working on my thumbnails. I'm not just sitting there watching the sunrise and what else do people do? I don't know what people do. I'm not watching Netflix or, hey, I'm up early. Great. Let's do some.
Nobody wakes up at 6:30 to watch Netflix, do they?
I don't know. What do people do when they wake up at 6:30?
I don't know.
know.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Okay, calm myself down. I'm not, but I don't come to my trampoline and like bounce at 6:30 in the morning either.
No, but you're bouncing now. So
yeah,
that's why that made it in there.
Okay, so, but I wrote it down.
It is. Okay, good. Okay, stop bouncing.
Calm myself down.
Calm yourself down. Stop talking. And you just focus for a minute on what is the one thing. And there's a whole book on that. The one thing. Okay. What is the one thing that is my priority today? And does everything else serve that? Simple question.
But I already do that. I have my task for the day. I'm like, Friday is my CEO day. And then like, this is a bonus add-on. I'm talking to Tess at the end of the day. But I already knew what I had to do today.
Winning.
Like what? Winning? All right. I had to win today. Yeah, baby. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So I had my list. And listen, the thumbnail was not actually part of that took up a good chunk of my day because I then made 4 other ones. Of course I did. And that wasn't especially part of wasn't what I was supposed to do. But I'm pumped I'm not judging myself that other stuff didn't get done. Like I'm pumped that.
But this is the thing. This is the thing that where you and I are very similar. Okay. You know, it's all well and good. And I don't over plan.
Okay.
And yet, I can run 3 businesses. I can sell one of them. I can throw a book into the mix. I can homeschool. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, wait, no, hold on.
You would expect.
Sell one of them.
You would expect, right, that I need to be exceedingly organized and orderly in order to achieve all of those things. But that's not my style. And in fact, I've got a post, an Instagram post that says something like, it's against my nature to be overly structured, but I know it's good for me, right? So I strive to have some structure to what I do, but I'm not overly detailed because it doesn't work for me. So you're a little bit like me, and there's that organic flow to your day as well. And when you're inspired and there's that spontaneous element, when you're inspired to do something and the energy's there, you've got to harness that. I think a lot of entrepreneurs really are like that, need that. We need to harness the energy when it strikes, or harness the inspiration when it hits and run with that. Because if we overly structure, say, oh, well, I can't be doing that today because today is this other kind of theme. I can't be working on this today. It's going to be on Thursday. Then it won't get done because the moment will be lost, and we know that about ourselves. So I think there's, like, you've got your theme to your day. You know what you're doing, and you've got the ballpark of what you're doing within each day. But I think there's still time to be reflecting on, well, what does that mean for me today? What does that mean for me this day? So what is it? Mondays? It's your CEO day. Is that what you call it?
No, Friday. Friday CEO.
Friday CEO
but tomorrow's fun day with my wife. So I'm gonna calm myself down and say, what does fun day with Nina mean for me today?
No, you don't need to do that. It's fun day.
I don't have to do it on a fun day. I'm not intentional on fun day.
You don't have to be. Isn't it the weekend? Isn't it the fun day? Doesn't that mean spontaneous?
But I'm spontaneous all the time.
Yeah.
So within
so funny.
If I showed you my calendar, like everything is packed, right? There aren't just chunks of time. Even on my creation day, which is Wednesday, it's like packed with things to do. But I don't expect genius just to come. Like this morning, the thumbnail was awesome, but that doesn't happen every morning. So when there's no inspiration, I have my schedule to fall back on. If I get inspired by something, I am dramatically willing to throw away even my entire day to go off and do that thing. So I don't stress and worry about it, because I feel like I can always make it up to myself or the person if I have to cancel on something.
Yeah, but how often do you throw away a day with Nina? You don't. Like, it's pretty sacred, isn't it? It's pretty special.
Yeah, but every day I stick to my thing.
Yeah.
What I'm supposed to do, because I'm not going to come back to it for another week. Now, there may be some emergency that pops up that I get thrown off, but 95% of the time I'm doing the thing on the day I should be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like it already has room. It's got structure, and it's got definitely room for spontaneity. And the intention was just in my weekly planning that, oh, today is going to be X day. Today's going to be fun day.
Yeah.
But it's
so
not
if you want
like,
to be intentional with each day, it still is the same question. What does this mean for me today? Like this Saturday with Nina, what does this day mean for me? What do I want to get out of today? And and that opens the door for inspiration. It also opens the door for just being focused on, this particular Thursday or this particular Saturday or whatever day it is, I'm really going to focus on this particular thing. And that's right, I'm talking to Tess. It's going to be the central highlight of my week. It's going to be so awesome.
Wait, week, month? Come on, it's a monthly call, Tess. Let's get it right.
Oh God!
I don't even get a sunrise anymore. Jesus.
Well, it's actually a bit. Yeah, I probably should have really done the dawn thing. It's Anzac Day here today, so if I'd been up at dawn, I could have lit a candle in the window, because we're Anzac Day is commemorating.
I heard Anthrax Day, but I'm pretty sure that's not what you're saying.
No, Anzac.
What that is.
Australian New Zealand Army Corps. It's commemorative. It's a commemoration of armed forces.
Definitely better than Anthrax Day, for sure.
Much better than Anthrax Day. We don't commemorate that. And of course, there's usually a dawn service. There's a dawn service, but there's no gatherings at dawn. But
what's the service? Like a church?
No, usually at the Shrine of Remembrance and other memorial sites.
Oh, it's like a war thing. It's a veterans. I got it.
Veterans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Veterans Day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like Veterans Day. Yeah. And the big one, the big global one is global, because it's Australia and New Zealand, and we own most of the world. The big event is in Turkey.
You got a big raspberry for that one.
Yeah, no, I deserve that. In Gallipoli, which is in Turkey, commemorating the First World War.
In November.
But that couldn't happen this year. No, that's Remembrance Day.
Oh, okay.
So Anzac Day is, it came out of the First World War and commemorates, fallen soldiers at Gallipoli. My great grandfather survived Gallipoli, but it was a disastrous element. First World War. We won't go into history. I don't know why I'm saying it, other than I could have met you at dawn today. You could have had your sunrise. There we go, but we didn't.
Okay, let me tell you what's going to happen. So I like this. Let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to do this for 4 days, and when I wake up and I don't have something on my mind, this is actually fairly easy to do, and I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to come up with something, and I might lead to, hey, I'm going to see Tess tonight. I wonder what I should ask her. I should ask her about this, and I'll keep that in mind. On the 5th day or whatever, I'm going to wake up and be thinking about a thumbnail. And I don't want to do this stupid calm myself down. And what does this mean for me today?
Yeah.
I want to work on my thumbnail. And I'm going to go work on my thumbnail. I'm going to feel like this thing is a giant waste of time. And then tomorrow, I'm not going to come back to this exercise.
And that's your problem, is because you're being rigid in when you apply this.
Right.
So even while you're talking,
thing. This is a 75% of the time thing.
Oh my God, stop talking. It's a you can do it any time of the day. You can do it multiple times of the day.
No, it's not even that. Like,
so it's not just
today. I wouldn't even need it. Today didn't need it. No, today didn't need it. Today was like so on fire and ready, and boom, 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 boom.
And that's fine.
Yeah, it's a 75% of the time thing.
Fair call.
Yeah. I'm judging myself. No, but this is it. I'm judging myself for not following through, because there'll be things in my morning routine that I'll do every day. Like every day I will put on a song. Every day I will hug my wife. Every day I will do these things. And it's super rare that doesn't happen. Like 98% of the time it always happens. And so I've associated my routine as core to me. And so if it's in my routine, it's happening. And if it's not in my routine, then it's not. So I would put things like this in my routine and then not feel the value of it. And then say, well, I feel like a failure personally for not following through on my routine.
See, what I'm hearing is you asking me how you can be intentional in your day because was it Dean or Brendan told you, or Brendan showed you his method for being intentional with his day, that what works for him.
This is genius. Yeah.
You already have a structure to your morning that sets you up for your day. Ooh. You don't need a new one.
Ooh, okay.
You've got a routine. Why are you pulling that face?
Because I think I'm more aligned with where we were before, which something like this could work 50 to 75% of the time. Because on the days when I wake up, there's some days I'm going to wake up and I have to do something, and then I get obsessed about that thing, and nothing else will serve me. I don't need this. I'll see it as a waste of time. But other days I wake up and I have nothing on my mind. Whatever, like nothing is a priority yet. And so I'd be happy to sit down for 5 minutes and write about what I want, how I want my day to go, and maybe even just thinking, like if I had some fun thing already on my mind for tomorrow with Nina, I don't want to sit in the morning and think, what does fun mean today? And I know what we're going to do today, and we're going to crush it. This is a waste of time. Let's go do that thing.
But that's what I said.
But if I don't have something planned in the morning, it's a useful exercise that may lead to brainstorming something. Yeah, okay. So this is a 75% of the time thing.
Yeah.
And I can't judge myself.
No, you can't judge yourself for not following through, because it's not necessary. And I think this is why, same story with me. It hasn't resonated for me to do someone else's routine every morning, because it's not necessarily where I need to be putting my head on any given day.
So how much should you actually be using the 5-second journal?
Every day.
No, you don't want to do it every day. Come on. When does it actually serve you?
I don't use it at all.
I know you don't, but because it doesn't serve you every day. When should you actually use it?
Well, should is an interesting word. Oh, look, there's things in here I've written.
What is it?
1st of May 2018.
Was that it? Is that all you've written? 3 pages since May of 2018?
Yep. Or maybe 4. But I carry it around because one day I might actually use it.
No, but here's the thing. Like your number, if I'm 50 to 75%, your number is like 10 to 20. You should be using it on 10 to 20% of the days. It doesn't serve you 80% of the time, but you need it on 10 to 20.
Let's think about this. What do I actually do? So what genius. I do, okay, don't put the pressure on me, man. What do I do?
Why?
Okay, so
what are you here for?
So I'm like you. I have a diary. That's my structure, and I have, Monday's my CEO day, so that's when I'm working on my business.
Wait, and I'm sorry. Is a diary a calendar, or diary is like your diary writing to yourself?
Like a calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't do a dear diary. Not since I was about 14.
Right.
So Monday's my CEO day. That's when I'm working on my business, my psychology business. Meetings with my team, thinking about stuff to do with the business, meetings with other agencies and so on. Tuesday's my mentoring day, where I'm my business coaching day, where I'm meeting people. So I'm like you. I've got this structure, and I rely on what's in my diary or my calendar, and that tells me where I need to be. I know by the end of the day on a Tuesday, I'm usually run right out because I've just been on coaching calls all day. Wednesday's my family day, and I do nothing.
Wow.
That's a lie. Well, no, it's a lie. What I do, I have nothing booked in my calendar. I try very hard not to book anything in on my calendar. So I'm focused on educational things with the kids. I still do my live streams. I still, if I'm editing my book, I'll sit on the couch, watch a movie with the kids, and I'm editing my book on my laptop while we're doing it. And so on Thursdays, one-on-one coaching calls, Fridays, a bit hit and miss at the moment. So I have a structure that I follow, and I will use conversations that I'm having during the day to inspire the live stream videos that I'll do later in the day. And so that then flows on to, might be a blog post. So I'm very responsive to what's going on around me. So I don't have a structure of how am I going to focus today, because I allow the diary or the calendar to focus me on what I need to achieve. And then I allow some room for spontaneity, allow a lot of room for spontaneity. And I try to be done. I try to be done by 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that the rest of the day I'm more present with my kids, because, homeschooling and all that sort of stuff as well.
So what is that journal supposed to do? The Mel
Mel's
Robbins
journal?
Yeah. What is that supposed to do?
Okay, let's have a look at it. Okay, here's what it's supposed to do. It's
like, why did you buy it? Besides a souvenir of the moment and a memento, and yes, but like, what were you hoping to get?
I actually bought it and gifted it to some of my early coaching clients back in the day,
That's a mistake. Okay.
Yeah. What? Well, because I need to.
Because it doesn't work for you. You can't recommend stuff that you're not using, Dr. Tess.
It works for a lot. I do know it works for a lot of people.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. I can't believe you just gave me a whatever.
I can't believe you gave me that answer.
That needs to be in the intro. Whatever. Well, okay. So what it's meant to do, it's actually more about overcoming some of the psychological barriers to action. I think that's where Mel mostly comes from. Yeah. So she's looking at, you're looking at how your energy is sitting, what you can do to improve your energy for the day, what you can do to improve your mood, what your most important task is for the day, your one thing, what steps you're going to take to achieve that, a bit of a brain dump, your plan for the day, and a confidence challenge to do something outside your comfort zone. So a lot of that stuff I actually don't need. I don't need.
You need it 10 to 20 when you're procrastinating. You need to go back and do 10 to 20% of the time.
No, not this particular journal. Not when I look at the content of what it's asking me to do. It's not what I need, and so
0%, 5%.
Yeah.
5% or 0%.
0.
So then why have it around all the time and carry it for 2 years just to remember the moment?
No, I don't know. I think, do you know what? I think it's a reminder that I perhaps need something. Not it, but I perhaps need something that I haven't yet settled on. A bit like you're doing right now. You're saying you need something to get a bit more focused, and it wasn't Brendan's structure. It's not going to be Mel's structure. That won't work for you either.
No, I think it is. It's just 75% of the time. That's the problem. I'm judging it because it's not 100%. And if it's not 100, I don't want to do it because I treat it like a personal failure. If I'm not doing it, if it's in my morning routine, it gets done. That's what Evan Carmichael does.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is not every planning structure is going to be the right one for you to use 75% of the time.
Sure, maybe 5%, 20%. But I think that idea of like, what does today mean for me? Your question, calm myself down. What does today mean for me? And Brendan's are similar. That kind of like, look at your calendar today and see who you're meeting and how do you want today to go and how do you want to show up today as a leader and a boss and comfort zone challenge, all that stuff. But some days it's just not going to hit, and that's okay. Like that's the difference.
Yeah. And being okay with that, it's not a failure. I think the other thing is also being aware of what it is you're asking of yourself when you're asking yourself to become intentional. And I think it's just about switching off autopilot every now and then throughout the day. So that's why I prefer a model that has you touching base with that a couple of times a day. Yes, you can have your start of the day thing. It can be while you've got some kind of loud music playing, and you can be bouncing on your trampoline if you really, really want to be, or dancing or whatever you want to do. But, the start of the day, like the kickoff of the day is one thing. And so my process, literally my process, when I wake up in the morning, my process is to, I let the world in. And now Mel says don't. So Mel's is the opposite. Like she will do her own process before she looks at the world outside of her head. Whereas I don't. I do it the other way around, and that works for me. So I'm looking at notifications because, of course, I've got contacts on the other side of the world. I'd like to know, have I been contacted by anyone? Has Steve emailed me? You asked me a question? Has Mark asked me something about our podcast? Whatever. And so I look for those in the morning. I won't necessarily action anything, but I like to know what's sitting there waiting. And I check my diary. I remind myself of what's coming up in the day ahead. And then, get up. I will have music going in the bathroom while I'm getting ready for the day. And that really energizes me. And part of that, if the kids are up, if the kids are up, is me dancing like a complete idiot in the kitchen. Nice. Anything I can do to make my children laugh means that we've started the day on the right foot. All is good with the world. And then I can focus on what I need to do.
We should see that on next month's Zoom call.
Oh, you'll see it sometime. You won't see it on the Zoom call. They're still sleeping in today. But you might see it on a story, an Instagram story someday.
All right.
Yeah. So it is also about how you want your mind, like how you want your mood to be. And that is what Mel does accommodate that in her planner. It's what mood are you in and how do you want that to shift? And I will use music a lot of the time to shift a mood. It works really, really well for me, 100% of the time, I reckon. So I have a playlist and it was designed for use when I was walking, for exercise. But I now use it all the time because it's such a good, positive, uplifting, fun. It's a fun playlist. So for me, the day starts with fun and it ends with fun and then everybody's happy. So that's my method, but I will also make sure I pull my head out of autopilot as often as I can through the day and go, well, stop. Is this what I wanted to achieve today? Because I might be caught up in emails when I really wanted to get a chapter of my book edited.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So stop and get that momentary intentional approach throughout the day, just checking in with yourself and say, hang on a minute, whoa, calm down, slow down, stop. Is this what you want to be spending your time on today? That's what I meant by that intermittent intentionality across the course of the day.
Yeah. I don't need that.
And it's okay if the answer is yes. Yeah, it's okay if the answer is yes. If you've thrown your morning because you're focusing on a new thumbnail and that's intentional, then it is intentional. There's nothing wrong in that.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't judge myself for that. I mean,
yeah. I don't judge myself for it, but it's also about, am I doing the thing that I actually want to be doing that is my priority, or has somehow, because I've entered autopilot, has the focus shifted into somebody else's priority?
Yeah.
And if it's not my priority, why am I doing it now? Why don't I do that later? So most people who work closely with me know the last thing to do if you want to get my attention is email me, because it's the thing I always try to leave till last to attend to, because it's not my priority, it's somebody else's. If someone needs me and they need me urgently, they know how to reach me, and it's not by email.
How would I reach you? I don't even know how I reach you. Sandra would reach you.
on the bat phone.
The bat phone. Sandra would reach you.
Sandra would reach me. Well, Sandra emails me. I mean, I must say, I scan my inbox, and there's a select number of people who would be.
Oh wait, no, we're not dancing. Yeah. So the business. Yeah, I very rarely find myself during the day saying, this is a waste of my time. I should be doing this. I got off track.
No, it's not a waste of my time. It's not my priority right now, because everything I've put my attention to is important. But is it my priority or is it somebody else's priority?
Yeah. And
that sounds like a horribly selfish thing. And
no, it's great.
And I think as CEOs of our own businesses, and I often talk, you have to. Yep. You have to prioritize your priorities. Otherwise that's where you get stuck in that hamster wheel of the day-to-day operations, and you're not actually being strategic. You're not actually moving forward. And of course, email inboxes are notorious. Mine has gotten better. My team used to CC me in on everything, so I would get swamped with emails and not know what I actually needed to attend to. And they don't do that anymore, which is fantastic. And we just have a regular meeting and they update me on what I need to know. I think it's too easy to get caught up in other people's priorities. There's a great saying, and I always get it back to front, but it's something like,
why is the crooked letter?
Yeah, it's something like wigwam for Grease's bridal. No, it's something like your urgency isn't my emergency, or something like that.
Okay.
Just because it's urgent for you doesn't make it a crisis in my life.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if it is something that I do need to attend to and I can help you with swiftly, I will. But for example, I think about when I was a lecturer at the university and students were running late with their assignments, and then they'd get all hot under the collar because I wasn't answering their emails fast enough because they had left their assignment to the last minute. Like, that's not my crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that you're behind the 8 ball with your timeline and deadlines, but I also have timelines and deadlines that I'm working to.
You're not actually even that sorry.
In fact, I wasn't sorry at all. I lied heartlessly and laughed behind their backs. No, I didn't. I was probably a bit of a pushover, if I'm really honest. But so I think your day is, your days are pretty well organized, pretty well structured, and you've got that the calendar schedule that locks you in to what you're doing. Where do you get stuck in autopilot? Like, where does that hit you? What's the vulnerable spot with that? Where are the areas where you find yourself not being intentional or not being focused?
I don't resonate with that line of thinking. I can't think of a time recently that I've ever felt like, oh, I'm just stuck on autopilot here. But my version of intentional was more like, I'm going to show up for you here. I don't even know what we're going to, I assume we're going to get something that's going to be awesome, but I didn't know what we're going to talk about before getting on. But I could have this morning or 5 minutes before or an hour before or lunch or whatever, thought, hey, I'm going to talk to Tess. That's going to be cool. Going to watch the sunrise and cheer her on. And let's come up with what we're going to, how do I want to show up for that meeting? And some days that would highly resonate with me. And some days, like, this is a giant waste of time. I need to go back and make thumbnails. Tess and I are going to crush it. And so I think for me, this process has helped me answer the question, is that the goal is to be focused and intentional. And some days I'm already naturally like that because I wake up thinking about my thumbnail is being intentional and focused. Yeah. Me not having a focus on my mind, then this process could be super helpful.
Yeah. So it's a bit like something to have in your back pocket for if you need it.
Just like my calendar is, where I have my set things for different days. But if I decide that today is going to be thumbnail day, I throw away my day and focus on my thumbnail.
Yeah.
I just don't treat my morning routine that way. That's the thing. So I have to have pieces on my routine, or because hugging my wife, that's going to happen every day. That's part of the routine. It's part of my system.
Hope so.
Sure. But like, you would hope that, like Oprah says, hey, if you don't have 5 minutes to center yourself in the morning, you don't have a life or something. Lack of time isn't the problem.
No. I'm just wondering, some people find it really helpful to have something visual as a reminder to check in.
It's not a, sorry to interrupt, but it's not a remembering thing. It's a feeling thing. I don't feel this is valuable right now. And so I'm going to do it because I told myself I was going to do it, because that's what Evan Carmichael does. It's more an identity thing. No, like you laugh, but like, this is why I struggle with it, because I built my identity around my routine. So to have something that I do half the time doesn't exist. Like, I can't be that person who does it half the time. So I stop it because I can't compute of Evan Carmichael doesn't follow through on this thing. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because it only serves me half the time, then I'll just stop it completely if it's in my morning routine. I wasn't saying that for like bravado and fun. It's like, this is my problem. No. Right? This is the problem.
That's why I laugh. Yeah.
But
it's the same
knowing
problem.
that, just to check in to say, hey, am I focused today? Yeah, I'm focused. I'm working on my thumbnail. Let's go, and like get to work. Like, check, because I want to be able to check the box off. Right.
Yeah.
So either I do this or I do that, and either of them, right? Not just judging for doing this one thing. Because there'll be some days where I'd be happy to sit down with a journal, and I got nothing. I got no worries today. Let's just sit down and journal for the day and see what I'm gonna see Tess. Awesome.
Yeah, but you hate journaling. You've told me you don't like to journal. You groan
journal.
every time I ask
that's
you.
true. No. I mean,
you groan.
Yes. Journaling.
You roll your eyes and you groan like a 13-year-old.
Journaling is like 5% of the time, maybe, or 2% of the time. But the 5 minutes exercise. Need to do that. The 5 minute exercise.
It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It can be 1 minute. It doesn't have to be, there's no rules around it. This is just a checking in. And the visual reminder is more about, some people might stick something on the front of their laptop or on the back of the toilet door or wherever. Just, what's my focus?
No, I'll remember to
and
do
just
it.
And just asking you, I know that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes it's helpful to check in throughout the day.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm not feeling that at all, but maybe. I mean, next month I might come back and say, Tess, that was genius last month that you said. But during the day, reminders of like checking. I don't know. Because I don't feel like I get distracted by people's emergencies and not wasting time, but on autopilot. I don't feel like I'm on autopilot.
Okay. So it is just a start of the day thing for you. You just want to be a bit more focused before you kick off.
Focus in that. The intentional in that, like showing up for this, I could have had questions and thought about what we're going to do. Again, whether that is first thing in the morning or like the thing that prevented me from thinking about what we were going to talk about today wasn't me being on autopilot all day long. It was me just not putting into my calendar to think, oh, what should I talk to Tess about today? Just wasn't in there. And it could be. And some days it'd be really helpful. And some days I might feel, I don't want to come with anything. I want to just show up and hug Tess and say, what's up? And see where it goes. Like that's it. And that it needs to be an acceptable answer, right? Which in the past it wasn't. So I would stop. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about that before, about how you would over prepare for interviews and how you then more recently you interviewing, I can't remember who it was now, you're interviewing someone and you weren't overly prepared.
I got it down. We got it down. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. See? It works.
It works. Dr. Tess is the mentalist in the house.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think for a lot of people, it's the scrolling on social media. That is where they fall over. And I know that you're not a scroller. Thank you for the love on my Instagram, by the way. I'm noticing.
I'm trying to give more love. Be intentional.
You are.
Trying to give hearts.
That's really lovely.
Try to say like believe and stuff.
Yeah, and I say to myself, okay, so how does that work in your world? Because in my world, it's like I will allow myself 5 minutes here and there to scroll mindlessly and just see what pops up. And I'm guessing that's not how you roll, unless you're in a queue for something, right? That's how that works with you, isn't it? If you're in a queue, you'll be answering messages or DMs or comments or things like that.
Yeah. So
how does it? How do you stop yourself from scrolling mindlessly? How do you manage your social media consumption?
That's a weird. I get the question. For me, it's weird because I just it bothers me so much to be wasting my time that I know that it just doesn't happen. Like you'll never see me. I don't care enough about my friends to follow them on Facebook and see what they're doing. Right? Like
see why I feel so special?
Well, no. So for the people who I follow on Instagram, I'm with intention. There's intention, trying to show love, trying to show support. Like I know it can be hard to get comments out sometime, and I'm trying to encourage the people who I follow. Just to, I mean, it's not super insightful usually the comment. It's like a believe or a heart or just a little show of love. But I'm not reading all of the like captions and everything. It's like I'm going to show 20 people today some love. Boom, boom. Believe. Done. But I'm not like it's with intention trying to show them love. In general, being outdoors and like in line or queue, as you'd say, yes. With Corona, I'm not taking my phone out for whatever. I don't know, like. Outside, I'm not using my phone at all. When I go out, my phone is here. So now it's only when, if I'm in the washroom, I'm using my phone. Yesterday was my public facing day interview. Somebody like last minute canceled. So I had that's what I do on my break.
Yeah.
In my head, it's just the same as being on an interview, like going to your Instagram and leaving a heart and saying believe or keep it up or whatever, is public facing day Evan. And so if I have a gap in my schedule that just because somebody had an issue, I'm not just going to chill for 25 minutes. I'm going to use that time I might join somebody's live, like, oh, who's live right now? Oh, Dave Meltzer. Great. Hey, Dave. And join on his live, or do a bunch of IGDMs or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely on breaks.
And I think it's an important question around social media consumption and time management, because a lot of people struggle with it. And I like that notion of intentionality again. This is such a theme today. Oh my God.
But I think it's also like, I just don't care enough. I don't care. Like,
so
what my wife posts and what my son posts, and my son almost never posts, and Nina, like, once every 2 weeks may post. I want to see that. And it's usually like a dog picture. There's nobody.
It's so cute.
Mark's posting, our mutual friend Mark is posting every day or multiple times a day or whatever. I'm not seeing all this stuff. I'm not seeing all your stuff. Like, I don't care enough about what Mark is doing or what you're doing. It just doesn't, I never think, like, wonder what's happening with Tess's life, and just go stalk you on Instagram or something. Or just get bored and just
check out my stories, and you're right there with me in my life. Yeah. Usually to do with food.
But I'll think of people and I think, how can I bring them some value or some love? Like, if I'm thinking about you in the morning, I might go to your Instagram stories and just check stuff out and like give it a heart or something and just show love. But it's never, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. So let me just go on my phone, and I don't consume much for that purpose.
Yeah, I think, and just listening to you talk about that, I'm thinking about some of the ways that I'm consuming social media at the moment, and it's how I explain to people why Instagram stories, for example, is so important. It took me a long time to get that as well. So I understand when people are relatively new to different social media platforms, that they don't quite understand how it all works. Because I now know, as a consumer, I'm going straight to Instagram stories and I'm scrolling across rather than scrolling down. So I'm looking at who I'm interested in. There are a couple of local small businesses that I'm really actively supporting at the moment, and following what they're doing and cheering them on for the great stuff they're doing, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm looking for. So similar to you, and when I think about it, I say that I spend 5 minutes a day scrolling, but I'm actually a bit more intentional than that. It's very rarely am I doing a random. At the end of the day, as I'm quietening myself down, I might do a random scroll down. But if I'm having a 5-minute brain break, I call it a brain break during the day, I'm scrolling across. So it's actually much more intentional consumption, a bit like you. And I think that people follow too many people, have too much junk in their, like too much junk mail in their newsfeed. And I think that's something else that people need to be looking at. Intentionality. What are they actually allowing into their space? Things that you follow, things you've subscribed to an email, all that stuff, you can trim that back and be much more intentional about what you let into your space. I'm unsubscribing and unfollowing things all the time, just trying to trim things back. Pow.
Sold the business.
Sold the business.
All right. Well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Mentalist, Dr. Tess. Go check her out. Tess Crawley. Find her on Instagram. If we do hashtag Mentalist, you might get a special bonus from me. I'm just saying, maybe it might happen.
Please don't. Please don't. Do not put hashtag Mentalist anywhere. Thank you. Love you all, but don't.
On every post that she puts on Instagram.
I know what's going to happen next. All righty. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. And
hey, by the next time I speak to you, my book will be finished. Well,
what's it called? What's the working title? Or is it finished title? Working title?
I don't know if I want to tell you the working title.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. What's the one-liner of like what it's about?
So it's about cheerleading what small businesses have achieved during coronavirus pandemic, the responses, the ingenuity, innovation.
Oh wow, super timely.
super timely, so it needs to be written quickly.
Yeah.
And it's also about strategies that I've used in my own businesses in previous disasters that apply now. So it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a pandemic. It could be a staffing crisis. There's always trouble.
Is
in
your
business.
2-year journey, the past 2 years in there? The growth?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Is there an audiobook version coming out?
There has to be.
Okay.
There has to be.
Are you going to read it?
You can't stop me talking, you know that.
All right.
Yeah, Christ. As if anyone else trying to be my voice, no.
Is there a video version coming out?
Oh, why not? Let's have
Hey, all right. YouTube version? I'll watch that. Hey, that's world default.
Really? I've never seen a YouTube version of a book. Who else has a YouTube
Yeah, listen
book?
now. This is the book's about ingenuity. The book's about ingenuity. Now is the time. I've seen people do it as like promos, or them reading parts of it, but not the whole book. I haven't seen the whole book.
Yeah.
That could be cool,
do
though.
Parts of it. Yeah, well, what I'm doing during the writing process, I'm keeping people updated with what I'm talking about. So yesterday I did a live stream about a homework activity, not homework, but like an activity that I discussed, or a strategy that I discussed in the chapter I was doing yesterday. So keeping people up to date with the progress. And then, definitely there'll be lots of conversations about how to get clever and creative in how we market the book. I'm totally open to a YouTube version of the book.
YouTube version.
It'd be fun.
I'll consume it.
It'd be fun.
It'll be YouTube version for, so I read, when I do, I'm trying to read every night. It's part of my new routine, but I'm a slow reader. So like I'll read, my goal is at least 10 pages of a book, which is a pretty low goal, but so do you know Chris Guillebeau?
I don't think so.
He was the youngest guy to see all 193 countries in the world. And then he's written, he's sold like a couple million books all around, like Side Hustle, $100 Startup. What's his big book? I forget his big book. The $100 Startup was one. Anyway, he's going to kill me. So he's got a new book out. And I said, like, a week ago, starting the new book, Chris Guillebeau. And then I posted last night, got to page 12 of his book. And then he DMs me because I tag him. He's like, you only got to page 12? Like, I'm a slow reader, man, but I'll get through it. So, if you send me a book, I'll read it, but it'll be a slow process. But it's better
it
than
might
audio,
not be a slow process.
I wouldn't listen to an audiobook at all. No, but a video. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting because the way I'm writing it, in order to write it quickly, is I am dictating a chapter a day. So I've got a book plan. I've got a structure of what the book's about.
Video dictated.
Well, I could do. I haven't.
Yeah. That's content.
The reason I know, but the reason I'm doing it this way is so that it's it goes through a process to be transcribed, and then I edit the transcription. So I'm hoping to have a full draft within a week and a half.
Come on, how cool is it?
I know.
For your grandkids to see Grandma Tess at sunrise, as she goes through her process of creating. If you're recording an audio anyway, just make a video.
Yeah.
Bonus uncut footage for people who buy early or buy multiple copies. You get clips. Yeah. Of course. All right. So send me the book before our call next month.
Sure. Done.
At least an ebook, right? I mean, there's something.
Well, the book won't be published. It'll be the first draft will be done.
Oh, when do you get galleys?
What?
Or galleys like the pre-launch version of a book.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've only spoke to my publisher for the first time last week.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be a little bit of time. But Corona's going to be,
fast.
I mean, it's got to come fast.
Yeah. So the aim is to have the book finished by the end of June for a September, October launch.
Oh, end of June. Okay. So you still got time. So
I
what
reckon
did you
I'll
say
be
by
done
next
before
month?
then.
Okay.
Oh, because I'll be finished the first draft by then.
Okay.
Yeah. But it'll be very much still in draft format.
Whatever. Send me a binder. Or I'll print it off with a cover page and I can hold it up. Huh? There we go. All right, we'll do that. All right. Thank you, Tess. Appreciate you. Happy weekend.
Thank you. Always back at you too.
It's the business.
It's the business. It's the business.
If you want to see the last time Dr. Tess and I came on, had fun, and she kicked my butt, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.